celebrant Lindy. I do ceremonies, and guess where I am? I am at Stirling Castle, one of the most important and one of the biggest castles in the whole of Scotland. And not only has it been laid siege to, I think, 8 times, but loads of Scottish kings and queens have been crowned here, including the very own Mary, Queen of Scots. But why am I here? Well, because as part of I do ceremonies, the ceremony part of my ministry, in 2020 I wanted to develop that a wee bit, and so I'm starting a new blog called Braw. And the idea is that every week I'll get out and about in Scotland, coming to visit some of the iconic Scottish spots, both indoors and outdoors. But to give people who watch the I Do stuff, because I know there's a lot of people from overseas, to give them a wee flavour of Scotland, but especially about ceremonies, because I wanted to showcase some of the places in Scotland where you can come and have a ceremony. And you can certainly have your wedding here at Stirling Castle. I think there's 3 places you can have it. You can have it in the chapel, you can have it in Queen Anne's Gardens, and you can have it in the Great Hall. I've no idea how much it is. I'd imagine it's a few bob, but my goodness, wouldn't it be worth it? So hey, here I am in the Great Hall at Stirling Castle, and this is where lots of kings and queens would have had these banquets and these great occasions, and would have invited statesmen and royals from around the world to come in and sit here. I'm going to do a wee well, look at the ceiling first of all. Wow, there's not one screw or nail in that ceiling. Built by shipbuilders. It's just absolutely beautiful, and it's really quite warm in here. This is one of the rooms that's actually rented out to have weddings in, and I thought it was going to be freezing, but look at these huge fireplaces that are around the room. There's actually 5 fireplaces. There's 2 each side of the hall, and then there's one at the top up on the dais where the king and queen would have sat, and that's because it's now got underfloor heating. Because they hire it out for all these beautiful events, it's now got underfloor heating. And let's see if I can walk backwards and take you up towards where, can you see the dais? That's just the sort of wee platform, the stage that's raised up, and that's where the king and queen would have. They would have come in from the back door there. There would have been maybe 400 or 500 people in this great hall. And up here, sorry I should have showed you this behind me, up there is where all the musicians would have been. And up here behind me, if you can see this part, that's where the trumpeters would have been. And the king and queen would have come into the hall, taken their seats on their thrones. When they sat down, as soon as they walked in, the trumpeters would have started. That's not what they would have done, but and as soon as the king and queen sat down, or the queen sat down, sorry, then everybody else would have sat down, and all the food and drink would have been brought in. But it wasn't just a couple of hours and then party was over. It actually lasted for 3 days. That's a Scottish party for you. 3 days of eating and drinking. And yeah, so you can hire this out for your wedding. How wonderful is this? And as I said, it's really lovely and warm. I think they do light the fires for ceremony, because if you can see behind me, the fire is all stoked up with the wood. So I can just imagine having your wedding in here and sitting up at that top table and thinking that, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, there would have been, Mary Queen of Scots would have sat in the same spot, and these beautiful stained glass windows between us, bearing all the the coats of arms of all the different royals who have lived in the castle. Absolutely stunning. So if you're thinking of coming to Scotland and having your wedding, and you've got loads of money, because I would imagine it's loads of money, then why not think about having it in the castle? Right, let's go and see the chapel. So here I am now in the Royal Chapel, and I hope you can see it behind me. It was built in 1594, and this is one of the spots in Stirling Castle where you can have your wedding. If I'm honest, I think the Great Hall has got a nicer energy. I don't know if it's just because it's warmer and it's got those big fires, but I really was thinking that I would come into the chapel and be blown away by the energy, but you know, I thought it would have a real spirituality to it, but I think the Great Hall has more than it does in here. I don't know why that is, but it's still a beautiful spot. And the tour guides just told me £9,000 to hire the Great Hall, and he said that's without your chips, so that's without your meal. That seems like an awful lot, so don't quote me on that, but I'm just telling you what the tour guides just told me. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. So that's the two spots. I haven't gone to Queen Anne's Garden because it's not actually open, but that's the outdoor area. If it's nice, you can have your wedding out there, so I'll come back one day and do that. But that's the two spots, the Great Hall and the Royal Chapel. And again, just thinking about all the marriages and the baptisms that would have taken place here. It's just quite, it's wow, it's wowish. Okay, thanks for joining me. So I hope you enjoyed the first I Do Braw blog here at Stirling Castle. Behind me you can see statue of Robert the Bruce, and beyond that I'm hoping you can see the Wallace Monument. Willie Wallace himself stood in that very spot, and maybe one of our future Braw blogs will take place at the Wallace Monument. I actually abseiled off that monument about maybe 20 years ago or something like that for charity. But there's not too much to see, but still a nice spot. So it's been absolutely great here at Stirling Castle. I haven't been to this castle since I was at school, which is really shocking given its historical significance in Scotland. And but it's like everything else, when it's on your doorstep, and I only live 10 minutes in that direction, when it's on your doorstep you forget just how important it is to take time and visit these spots. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the first in our Braw blogs from here at Stirling Castle. Who knows where we'll be next week, but it's been fair Braw. See you later.